Is it working correctly? 6 megabits per second. Okay, 30 FPS. Fine. Okay, we're connected to Twitch. And YouTube is receiving something. All right. It seemed a bit jittery, but so far things seem to be okay. So, welcome to Coding Hangout number 248, where we are collecting some replays. Basically, the kind folks at Clemson University asked me to help them collect some replay data for some gas-like puzzles they're going to launch starting tomorrow. And I've built code for this years ago, and I tested it briefly and know it works. The problem is I've made changes to my server locally, and they're not committed. So I don't want to upload a new server code to the website that might not be compatible with what's there right now. I'm also running a backup here. So let's connect, let's SSH to the server and get a copy of the current server script and compare it to what we have locally. And the server code is not split between production and beta. There's only one. The site itself is split though. So we're gonna this streaming is gonna be pretty much how the sausage is made type stuff. So there should be server here, and we should have these kinds of files here. So server.js is the main workhorse file. So I'm gonna make some notes here. So we want to compare online server.js with local. We want to test or consider any updates. Consider externalizing replay config. Yeah, so basically right now the replay config, because I basically just prototyped the system back then, is just a JSON hard-coded inside the server file, and obviously that's not great. But first of all, we want to see if any of the changes that I don't have live. Hey Keith, hey Wimek, how are you? Wimnek. All right. Basically, what I need to do is I need to make sure, like, I want to compare what code is currently live with what I have local, and if they're different, decide which changes I want to update forward. So, for example, I have 2 new API calls here, and a couple of things here. Some of this is probably just me working on some debugging and leaving some code lying around. So before I do anything else, I'm gonna pull out the code I need to grab those things, right? So here are my deploy scripts. So normally when I'm deploying the server, I'll execute this. So what we really want to do now is reverse that. So this is so we don't need the mkdir. So this would give us the rsync from SSH, sure. And I'm guessing there's supposed to be a... where does the single quote come in? Where's the single quote? Oh, okay, so we don't need the single quote. So we're doing an rsync from server to here. All right. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do a mkdir live, or I'm gonna call it AWS4 because that's what the server is called. All right. So instead of syncing all of server to the remote, we want to sync from the remote only server.js to /server.js. So that should copy that file down here, right? It'll just do that, right? It might take a moment because I'm also trying to sync the database at the moment, and that takes a while because the database is kind of big, a couple of gigabytes, and for some reason I can't get SSH to work very quickly. It cannot resolve AWS 4. Can't I? Oh, wait, no, I don't need to do this at all. That's just needed for the mkdir, which we don't need to do. So I should be okay just doing that. Sudoku bit down. It's probably me messing with the server, causing the server to not react. So it's not down, but it's not healthy. I'll admit to that. Let's have a look. If I look at today, yeah, this is not looking great. It's not exactly down, but it's not healthy. All right, so I think we've rsynced that file. So we have this file here, and then this is the actual live, the current file. So if I think I can just shift click this, and then I can just say diff. Oh, yeah, but this is a little painful for me because there's a whole bunch of work I've been doing that I haven't published. And I feel like I almost want to revert to where I was at. Now the problem is I don't even know if what is currently uncommitted is what is live, or if that is already out of sync with live. Yeah, the server is completely overloaded, so that's why. So if I look at if we connect to the server here, you know, since we're doing some behind the scenes shenanigans here, see how long it takes me to connect to the server. It's taken forever. Probably because I'm trying to pull that back up right now. And it's just, you know, compressing 3 gigabytes of data. And this is what my processors look like on the server. 100%. And it's the SSH, yeah, it's the SSH that's... So I'm guessing compressing those files and SSHing them, you know, is slamming the CPU. And then between that and the server access, it's... But I have to run... I used to run these backups like daily, but now the database has grown so much, it's all a little cranky. This is... in case you're wondering, this is not a healthy processor. This is not a healthy server. I'm not downloading any replays. There are no replays. I'm downloading the database, the puzzles. Because that's the only way I can do backups at the moment. So I have to download them to do a backup. But of course, I'm just dumping the full database. If I had more time to build something better, I would create an incremental backup. But this is not incremental. This is a full backup. So, which was fine when it was 50,000 puzzles and it took us 10 seconds. But now it takes longer, and I should actually. It probably would be faster if I shut down the server. It probably would have been finished by now, and the server would be back to normal. So yeah. Yeah, the server only has 8 gigabytes of memory. It's you know, I mean, I'm still paying 150 bucks a month, but it's not well utilized. Let's put it that way. There's too many things running here, as you can see. This is all microservices. Look at that, 20, 30, 40. Geesh. All right. Do I want to wait for this? Not really. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a copy of the current file and then revert the local system to what's live. Unless that breaks, because it might break because there's 2 files actually, server and simple server. And simple server might also be out of sync. So I need to be a little bit careful. Let's pull simple server down as well. Can we do it from here? I think so. It might also take a while. So we can open this file as well. And we can open this file. And then we can connect these and diff them. And we're gonna look at that diff here. It's a bit big. Yeah, I did some optimizations here and maybe some fixes. Oh no. And that's why I've been hesitant to do this, because it gets very complicated when your live service and your development system are out of sync. Yeah. Well, it's also because of the way it was. I never designed it like properly. I built a temporary system, which was fine for 50,000 puzzles, but 300 or 400,000 that it is now. Like it's not hard to do. It's just I have to spend the time and do it. Let's deal with this mess first. All right, I think simple server, we should fix that one first. So I'm gonna open this folder, and I'm gonna make a I'm gonna actually rename this to, I'm gonna create a back folder for now. I'm gonna move that in here there, and I'm gonna do local, and then I'm gonna copy. I'm just gonna do this. So I'm gonna copy server and simple server to local. And then we're gonna copy the AWS versions to local. And now we're gonna look at our Git and see how different they are. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so simple server. So my local version that up to not committed is the same. There's something here on the server that isn't local, and I think I put that there like directly on the server for the same reason, because the server and the local setup are out of sync. So I think I need to bring this into the local system and then commit it and then merge it into it's gonna be a pain in the ass. All right, so it's basically this code here, and I did this to debug some memory stuff. Okay, so if we're removing this, now we basically have no change on either of these files. Okay, discard change, we don't need white space changes. All right, so put that there. Then we want to, yeah, no, we don't. Actually, let's add this to git ignore for now. We can just slash back. I think we can just add this. Yeah. Boom. We can do that. All right. So we don't need this. Oh, PuzzleDB files we might need to sync as well. All right. So step one, I think, is forget about this. Let's see if we can just update simple server on its own. So let's bring the local simple server back. Yes. And see if that's still compatible with the new server. So what did we do here? this was dealing with some encoding thing, but it's obviously not dealing with it if it's not actually live. Why did it not go live? I don't know. So there's a lot of commented out code, which means maybe I was just testing and then decided not to bring it live because I didn't have time to, you know, complete the testing. So let's get rid of this. I think I was testing out broadly compression, although I think I should already have broadly compression in here. So we have string with encoding, read file with encoding. What is this even used for? And then limit encoding. I think it's so it doesn't try to broadly compress files that are very small or something. So that's these three functions, right? We've added JSON to application content types detection here. Application text. Wait, what? So we just added JSON in line with JavaScript. Okay, that's fine. We added max broadly size. That's fine. We added a readable string up here. That's fine. Now, none of these are just making functions available. So the first actual change is here in serve page. So serve static, was that changed? Yes. So we added accept encoding here instead of using request headers directly. Sorry if this is super small. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can enlarge this a little bit. So I'm basically looking at... Whoops. Let me just do this. I'm looking at this part of the diff at the moment. So I basically said if let encoding equals at get encoding. We got rid of that. We replaced it with that. So this becomes a variable there. File size. Encoding, limit encoding. So we did the limit, so we calculated the encoding, but then we're resetting it to nothing here. So we're disabling all of this here. So we put the code in, but we disabled it, so it's not actually doing it. How does that compare? And then encoding might get set to blank again down here. If encoding, you can set content encoding. So this is definitely not needed because I don't think encoding is being changed underneath here. So I obviously set it to a blank string while I was testing. So this is kind of dangerous because I've obviously kind of disabled this new code. All right, let's have a look what serve page does. Serve page, what it does differently. We had a write head here. So it builds the response headers in more bits and pieces, basically. Probably because of all the encoding shenanigans. All right. And then we have in line 321 this change where I probably tested something on a different machine locally. Okay, we can probably get rid of that. So end response body. Why did we rename that? Body, response body. So we changed it from body. Okay, because we're doing it with encoding now. All right. I guess we want to first see if it still runs without an error. Okay, let's see if our database backup has completed. Yes. So that has completed. Does that relieve our server of some strain? If I say htop again, not exactly. Oh no. Okay, so that should actually be helpful. All right. Now let's see if we can restore it. And to make sure I don't restore something remotely, let's kill the Mongo tunnel, and we should be able to run restore that. And that should pull the database into my local database. Now, what I haven't done now is I haven't synchronized the file version of the database, because there's two parallel systems. There's a file-based system and there's a database system, and they're kind of redundant systems, but also legacy systems, because I didn't trust the database. So I left the old system in parallel, but it's actually kind of bad because it's doing twice the work, and it has basically the negative aspects of both systems. But it has saved it from breaking down a couple of times. So I think it's about 4 gigabytes or so. I wonder, actually. Let me see. Where's my backup? It's here. It's here. It's here? Question mark? Let's see which one was the backup we just pulled. I guess it's this one. It's only 1.7 megabytes as an AGZ file. How big is the file on the inside? 3.8 gigabytes. Jeez. All right. Ooh. Ooh. Are these errors? I can't tell. Restoring indexes. Because now... Oh, we got an error. I don't know. Yeah, I think the restore is successful. It's doing something else, and I don't know why, but it's like in a different folder, then it fails because of that. But that's fine. So if I refresh this page now, it should be able to load it locally. No, I might have to restart the process, because it's probably in the cache. Oh yeah, Windows really does not like directories with 30,000 files in them. It really does not like it. 30,000 files. Let me show you what that looks like. If I go to public staging API. If I say dear, it'll basically do this for a while. Like, for a while. Actually, I don't know if I can dr count files. Is there a way of just giving me a count? Exclude directories. Find C counts every non-empty line of the output. If I do this. Nope. Find a line of search, something like count only files, excluding directories. Oh. But maybe huh? Path CB. What? Bear format, no header footer. So if I do dir/b, because it cannot find path. What? That's weird. Can I just do this? All right, I'm wasting time. Yeah, Windows doesn't like many files. Okay, so this one did not hit the database. That's good. So it serves the file. The problem is this is not a thorough test, and that's part of the reason why I haven't published these changes, because obviously publishing these kind of changes has the potential to break the website for many users. And if I don't see the break myself, but I'm guessing I don't really have a choice. I don't really have a choice. So right now, Simple Server is updated, and all it's done is added content encoding, and I disable the content encoding for static. So let's do a quick check. If I look at this, and we're disabling cache, right? And we do a full reload, empty cache and hard reload, right? So that's 1.1 megabyte transferred. Let's keep this one in a tab. And now I'm gonna remove this line, And if I save this, I think it'll reload. Yes, it restarts the server. It might take a while because this takes like 20 seconds or something to cache the database in memory, which it does also. 1.1, 363 kilobytes transferred, and before it was 1.1 megabyte transferred. So the reason for that is this is adds encoding. And I think the reason I did this, because it might also, yeah, well, I don't know, it was a standard command prompt. It looked like a PowerScript error, but yeah, maybe, doesn't matter. Because most of these should now be encoded with Brotli. Can I see the encoding? Response headers, content encoding. Here we go. Yeah. So if I look at this and I look at this, I guess I'll have to do it separately. Yeah. So most of these aren't specially encoded. I don't know why this one is encoded though. Oh yeah. Okay, that one is proxied through. That's the plausible one. This one is gzip. That's from Google. Okay. And then one here is Brotli. So I'm Brotli encoding just the puzzle data itself, which is interesting. But if I go here, now all of this is Brotli encoded. And it cuts the bandwidth in a third. So pushing this live might actually be a really good idea. So I actually might do this now that I've sort of isolated the simple server update from the server update. So simple server is basically, it's like my version of Express.js. It's like the low level server library that I built. So it basically handles routing and like generic stuff and like server file and blah, you know, it doesn't do anything Sudoku specific. Except for the 404 error page, which shouldn't be in here. I mean, I've even done my own sort of content encoding mapping, and it kind of accumulated a bunch of cruft, and I shouldn't be using this. I should be replacing this with Express.js, but I'll do this another day. It was supposed to be simple, but obviously over time you realize, oh, I need this, and I need to content encoding, and I need to do compression, and I want to do all this stuff, and blah, 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 right? But I think we can deploy this. So let's deploy this separately, because if this deploys correctly, then we can continue, and we don't, and if it doesn't, then we know it's broken, right? But we can deploy it now, and we can test it a little bit, and if it all works, hey! I don't know, can I view bandwidth usage? Can I view live bandwidth usage of an AWS instance? Like, can I think AWS should be able to tell me AWS EC2 instance. It's all sponsored results. I think only if CloudWatch is configured, but it might be. I'm doing this on another monitor just in case I have some, you know, I have some non-public things doing sign-in and stuff, which I'll probably have. Okay, let's have a look at the deploy script again. Server. So normally we would be deploying from /src/server/. So if I do this, that should deploy simple server. Do we want to keep a backup? Probably. So if I look here, so I can do cp simple server to simple server 2025/06/05.js. Right? So we can just revert it if we need to. And now I can just rsync this here. 1 second. Why is my AWS console not coming up? I've had some weird stuff lately where certain pages just don't load up forever, and then or they load and then suddenly they break, and then it's like a cloud CloudWatch or error or whatever, is you can add a custom thingy using an F key. HTOP network bandwidth interface. How should I like a program with network statistics? Glances. Glance is an open source system cross-platform monitor tool allows real-time monitoring of various aspects of your system, such as CPU, memory, blah blah blah. All right, how do I install it? Installation. Is it safe? Is Glances safe to install on AWS EC2? Okay, it's written in Python though. Yeah, I don't want an AMI. You know what? Let's risk it. Do we feel risky today? Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't want to do remote view, remote access. What are you saying? F2, then scroll to meters. Meters. Then scroll to meters, then add the network IO meter. Right column. Network. Memory swap. Task counter. Uptime. Hostname. CPUs. Blank CPU edge. I wonder if my HTOP is old. Let's see. HTOP network IO meter. Blah 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 blah. Before swap, there's this tabs. Tabs and HTOP is a new feature. It's not yet part of the official release, but you want them. You need to build HTOP yourself. Since version 3.2. Oh, I'd have to build it. Ah, yeah, good idea. Give me if you have some puzzle IDs that I can use for testing, I would greatly appreciate that. So, for example, oh, wrong port. So right now with Broadly compression, but I think they were already compressed, to be honest. So they probably, I think the puzzle data itself was the one thing. Fabric. Sounds familiar. Fabric. What am I using it for? Fabric. Oh yeah, for the markdown thingy. All right. Wow, how big is that? 73 kilobytes. Jeez. Yeah, where's the puzzle API call? Here. Ah, no, this is not compressed. Probably is it maybe below the. Why is this one not compressed? Interesting. Wait a second. Now here it's compressed, I'm guessing. So if I search for API, yeah, I mean 11.4 versus 14.9. It's not that much. Let's look at Sudoku. Sudokuvania. Digital of Despair. If I look for this one, right? Reload. So this one is 79 kilobytes. And if I bring this to localhost, oh, no. Why did it want to make a screenshot? I didn't ask you to do that. If we go localhost now, it comes down to... Wait. Here. 59. Wait a second. Why does it not show it as compressed? 79. Oh, now it says. Okay. Wait, what? So interesting. Why does it use gzip for this one? I think, and this is actually, thanks. That's actually good if we look into this. And let's keep track of all these test URLs we're using here, because we might want to check these after deployment as well. Because I think what I added to this code is because broadly compression is quite CPU intensive. And maybe that's why I didn't release it, because as you see right now, the server CPU is already being smashed. And it's not, I don't think it's caching this stuff at the moment. I think, it might, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is this... One second. Let's actually look into this, because that might be the reason why I disabled it, because right now the server CPUs is pegged, and broadly is not cheap. Now, if you're pre-compressing it or caching it, it's not a big deal, right? And the bandwidth, it might save me a lot of money. In fact, it might make sense to get the bigger, more powerful server and then put this on there, and then the bandwidth savings might pay for the faster CPU, basically. Yeah. One second. So let's see. I think the limit encoding says max broadly size, right? So if it's larger than 50K, so that's why it won't use broadly for the but remember, the puzzle data is actually the smallest of the issues, because the biggest part of the page is other stuff, right? You know, this page is 2 megabytes at the moment, like, because right now everything is unminified and so on. It goes down to 774 with the compression. Without the compression, it is, well, it will be to the 2 megabytes, right? That's how that works. So it'll probably pull, I don't know why it says 1.1, like it said 2 on the other one. It starts with 1.1, then it goes to 1.4. Is it because of third-party libraries? Now it says 1.4, but it's downloading 500K. Now that's the live version, the online version. The offline version is 2 megabytes and 776K. Now that's... Is it because it's filled in? Wait. Let's do an incognito reload. So if we do an incognito load, we get 1.2 megabytes, 47K, 471K uncompressed versus 1.2 megabytes resources. Here it's 1.4 megabytes resources. Where the hell are the extra 200K coming from? If I sort these by size, right? What are the top ones? 60. So the main script is like the biggest file. Here we have the puzzle data itself. The puzzle data here is the second biggest. Fabric is really chunky. Why is Fabric not getting loaded here? Is it because the setting isn't enabled? Because Fabric is part of the marker tool. Maybe the marker tool... So if I disable it, which I think it's disabled by default, then it probably doesn't load the Fabric file. Okay. All right. So it's just my local system because I have that setting enabled. Most users probably wouldn't have that setting enabled. Okay. Man, I wish I had like a regular web server and I could just look at server logs and know which files are using how much bandwidth and all this sort of thing. All right. We're still 1.2 megabytes instead of 1.1. So there's still maybe some other setting that loads some other file that I'm not loading normally. Bus patcher. Trying to think what third-party tools might be pulling in files. And third-party tools, I mean optional plugins that aren't necessarily always running. I mean, Twimoji is obviously pulling in some things. We have some fav icons. I can't... How many? 82 requests, 95. Why? If I sort them by URL... I mean, this is not something I should be doing right now, I'm guessing. We have the API counter, which isn't sorted the same way here and here. Why is it not sorting this at the top when I'm searching by URLs? Oh, because the URL here, localhost, doesn't have HTTPS, so alphabetically, obviously, it ends up elsewhere. Okay. So we have these 5 external ones, 4 for the fonts, 1 for the API counter. Okay, so if I refresh them right away, then we should have the same number of events. 81 requests. We still have 95 here. This is so bizarre. We still have 95 here. Why do we have... That's quite a few. That's more than 10 extra requests. Ah, the Twimoji SVGs. They're not showing here. Why? Is it enabled or disabled or something? Because I thought it wouldn't load them until... Whoops. Until... I don't even know. Is Twimoji an advanced setting or experimental? Or a visual? Disabled to emoji replacement. Visual. Disable. Ah. I have it on. Why do I have it on? All right, let's refresh again. I'm just trying to get a comparable setup here. Well, solving the problem isn't the hard part, or knowing how to solve the problem isn't the hard part. I know how to solve the problem. Doing the actual work is the hard part. Like, I know how to solve the problem. It's just I got to do a bunch of stuff, right? All right, so, and it's not automatic because it's all my own stuff. 73 requests, 102. Wait, why is it now Twimojing here? Excuse me. Shouldn't it be Twimojing on both now? Oh, it hasn't even finished loading yet. Yeah, I think the server is really struggling at the moment. Could everybody just stop playing Sudoku for just 1 minute while I'm trying to do something here? Yeah, I'd love to run 2 servers actually. So like beta should be a completely separate machine and could be tiny one, you know. And then it could be a failover as well. But I need to reorganize so much stuff. I need to do a bunch of work first. That's the problem. All right, 102, 103. Okay, now I think we're running the same number of requests. I don't know why we got like 20 more requests now than we had before. Because now it's loading Twimoji files on both. Wait, what? Oh, because it's not disabled. Okay, so loading the Twimoji files is in addition. Okay, and they're not broadly compressed. All right, whatever. All right, 2 megabytes, but it's 700 transferred. So the Twimoji alone adds a whole bunch, doesn't it? So if we do disable Twimoji on both, I mean emoji replacement on both, and I do the same thing here, and we reload. Wow. It adds 300k? Shit. You know what that means? Like I'm paying probably like 30, 40 bucks a month just for the emoji replacements. because people don't like or like complain that the emojis don't properly cross support with browsers that don't even have the fonts installed, which is like not something I can fix. God damn it. Wow, I should really like check how much that costs me. But one thing that's concerning is, why are these all compressed right now? I didn't deploy the compressing server file yet, did I? Or did I accidentally execute it? I'm pretty sure I didn't. I didn't press enter here, right? Yeah. Why are all these files broadly compressed? What the hell? I thought we were comparing before. I did not deploy the file, did I? 1 second. Wait. Simple server is the same size. No, yeah, it's the same size as the backup. So I didn't deploy. What's going on? So wait a second. Did we? Maybe I'm misunderstanding here. Maybe we already did broadly compression. I just had to fix some problem, and then to compress only over certain sizes and things like that. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we were always doing broadly compression already. Yeah, it's the limit encoding that was added, not so much the compression at all. And I think there were some issues with not the right encoding being sent. But now I'm also thinking, but we already have that code live. Like the code that's live is already compressing and it's working. But I mean, I don't know if it's working well, but it's working well enough, right? It's working as well as it's what's been running for months, right? So I'm loath to change the code when I don't remember what I was trying to do here, what I was trying to fix. I think I was fixing some issues or some like edge case bugs where the encoding stuff doesn't, where like some content. Yeah. So at least what we know for sure is that we're not adding CPU usage now because it was already compressing. So it's just kind of handling the headers and stuff a little bit differently. Okay. So measuring bandwidth is kind of pointless because it shouldn't change the bandwidth usage. Well, I can cache the JS files and all that stuff. And again, it's more setup, and I can reduce the size of them so much if I were to just minify them and all that stuff. It's just lots of stuff I need to do, right? It's setting up Cloudflare is a thing I need to do. I've never used Cloudflare before, so setting that up would also be a thing, right? And they're already being versioned, right? As you can see here. Yeah. In fact, that's why. So they already, you don't even need Cloudflare, right? They should, here, the cache is, if I don't disable the cache in the browser, then it's only downloading 5.5 kilobytes, right? So Cloudflare isn't going to do much better, right? Because you're going to pay for bandwidth with Cloudflare if you're not paying it with AWS. So, caching is already happening. All right, so the question is, do we deploy? I say we do. Before we deploy, let's see. So the HTOP version we have, -v maybe? -- version. Here we go. So it's 2.02. How to update HTOP on Amazon EC2. So if I just do a sudo yum update HTOP, and while we're doing this, let's also update HTOP on my local machine, Just so, you know, I can look at it and see what it does. So that's online. So if I have htop -- version, what version do we have here? Htop not found? Ah, because I'm using btop locally. Does btop do something similar? Do we have btop here? We do. We do. Do we have btop network monitoring? Does btop have network monitoring? So many sponsored results. Network. I was going to graph for network usage. Okay, so in theory it does. In praxis, where can I view it? Menu, options. General, 2 CPU. Temp scale, net. Net upload. Fixed number graph download value. Graph symbol net. Graph symbol to use for graph in netbox. Okay. Upload. Wait. Where is the netbox? Ah, down, bottom left. Okay. Do we have btop? Oh, wait. This is btop. Ah, this is on the server. But it's not showing anything. Also, that IP address looks like my local address. Wait a second. Yeah, this is local. This is remote. This is remote. So if I say htop version now, it's still 2.02. So that didn't update. Do we have btop here? Btop not found. Okay. Can we install btop? Can we do sudo yum install btop? Maybe if we install btop, I don't have to build htop from scratch, right? So I think htop version 3 whatever is way too recent. Yeah. I despite my downtime, I think I would still have better uptime than Cloudflare. Yeah, I don't see how they would be free. Like, somebody's got to pay for it, right? It's probably free for personal use, but not for commercial services. Well, I had SudokuBet be up when Cloudflare was down, and it's never been down when because Cloudflare was down. So that's something, right? Error, nothing to do. No package btop available. Okay, wait a second. Amazon Linux btop no package available. How do we get a install btop or glances? Repo, blah blah blah. .3.2. Download the appropriate version for your architecture. Use your btop on btop releases on GitHub. Which architecture do I need? I think this is x86. How to detect architecture of EC2 instance. So if I say uname-m, okay, so it's x64 and btop releases page. Btop releases page. That's not the btop releases page. It's Thanks, AI results, linking me to a random bug report. All right, BTOP. Releases. Where are the releases? Releases. Compilation, installation, Linux, Mac. Sudo make install. Download BTOP version from latest releases. Okay, so we don't want to do this. Do we want to do this here? No, probably we want to do this in the user directory, right? Okay, so we want to download. Big thanks to blah blah blah. Okay, changelog. So we need x64. So we need this one. Copy link address. All right, so 1 second. I have so much stuff everywhere. You only see one of my monitors, so, you know. So we want to do this, and then I need to look at, we want to, I guess we want to curl this. Download file with curl. I guess it's just curl in the URL, right? So I think we're just going to do curl -o, something like that, and then we'll do this. Also, why does it have unknown Linux muzzle in it? Maybe because it's not for any specific. In fact, they all say unknown Linux. One says IBM, which is curious. So did this download something? Yeah, but it's 0. If I click the link, it just downloads it. Let me try this on my machine, just to see. If I do this. Why does this come through as a 0-byte file? What am I doing wrong here? Download and save the custom name. No, I don't want to save to a custom name. Resume and interrupted download. Download multiple files. Oh my god, against my better judgment, I'm gonna ask the AI. When I use the file is 0 bytes. Okay, release your else respond with 3 blah blah. Okay, so redirect. Let's okay. Okay. All right. So 948 kilobytes. And then to install it. So after that, we might want to install it like this. I don't know why mine says unknown. But here we are. What frame did you ship? Hopefully not Node. Node is not a framework. Node is a runtime, and it is Node. Yes, I'm not using a framework. A forward header. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Oh, wait. I want to do that here. All right. All right. So that's how we install software in Linux. Installing. Okay. Okay. Hey, look at that. All right. So here we have 600 kilobits per second upload, 4 megabytes per second, maxed at 5 megabits per second. I don't know what the max bandwidth on the server is. Bandwidth I don't think is a limitation though. It's just what I'm paying for. But I'm gonna keep this up somewhere because this will be actually handy as an item of record. I'm gonna check what version I have locally. 1.23. Huh. I wonder if installing this would actually be handy locally as well. If I move btop dash to squiggly, right, rm dash rf btop, right, and then I go to squiggly, and then I'll do this again, and I'll check version again, 1.23, and I'll do a sudo make install. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see if this is faster on my local machine. So my local machine is like, whoop, it should be a lot more powerful, right? Yeah, that was very fast. It's the same version though. So I already had this version. Wait, did I just try to install? No, this is supposed to be 4.6. apt, wait, sudo apt update btop. Apt update btop. Wait. Because I shouldn't have to just, this version should work for me, right? Update btop on WSL. Maybe I need to do something weird with WSL. Wait like 2 hours when the videos go live. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Sudo snap, no, up Ubuntu here. So if I do sudo apt update, right, and then I'll say, come on. All right, come on. Apt upgrade. You know, one experiment I'd like to do is if I run SudokuPad on my local machine and then just proxy to it from sudokupad.app, will it work? Because I used to serve my own commercial sites from my desk machine and it worked fine. And I have like a 500 megabit connection or something, or at least 50 or 60 megabits upstream. So whatever this is doing, my local system should easily be able to do. All right, this takes a little bit longer. Not just a little bit, quite a lot longer. Why is this taking so long? All right, in the meantime, let's remember what we're here for. So let's ignore this for a second. We still want to deploy the new version of Simple Server or whatever, right? So we have a little bit of a history here on the graph. I think, do we want to, wait, N is local. Because everything is local, because everything goes through the proxy. I think this might actually be more relevant. All right, in the meantime, we want to deploy. Okay, that's our remote. This is our APIs. That's the backup one, where we're doing the backup. This one is where we're trying to, where we're just, okay, so we can maybe stop that one. That's the remote. So let's put that there. That is, that's, okay, that was me running btop locally. That's still installing btop locally, and that's remote again. Okay, so we can actually do that from here. Sudokupad.app. So we kind of want to run this. So if I run this, now I don't know exactly what happens, because if it, I think it should be able to overwrite the file, but if it doesn't, so we have a new bigger file here, right? But if I don't restart the server, it shouldn't be running the new version. So if I do, if I restart beta only, so we should be able, and let's not use the Dokavania. So let's go on beta for this one. Right. And let's take a good look at this. Okay, so I'm going to refresh that. We see the whole network tab. No caching. So that's 2.2 megabytes, 770 kilobytes. You know, depending on whatever my local settings are and stuff. And we'll do it again, so that should be the same. So that's our confirmation, right? So we have 2.2 megabytes, 2.2 megabytes. Yeah. Now, we're going to restart. Sorry, I'm going to make it smaller because it bugs me that it's wrapping. We're going to restart beta, which is number 6. Right. And now we're going to reload here and see if it works. And if that works, then restarting alpha production should also be safe. Let's just do it again. All right. And it should be roughly the same size because, yeah, in fact, it'll be slightly bigger because it's not doing broadly on some of the larger files. Now, if I bring the limit down, so for example, if we look at Fabric, no, Fabric, I think, is Fabric compressed by my code or not? I don't know. I think Fabric was already broadly compressed, right? Yeah, no, okay. So now Fabric gets gzipped instead of broadly compressed. And it gets a little bit bigger. So we can tune this now to maybe reduce the CPU usage if we want. So, you know, now what I don't know is how much of the CPU usage is the broadly compression because of local caching and all this stuff. But we do get a fair number of new users each day, right? So let's see. Now, what I don't have here is like a direct comparison for CPU usage. But by turning that number down, we might actually increase the bandwidth and choose to do so and free up some CPU time. Yeah, but like I don't really have a bandwidth problem with my local machine, so... This live stream is 6 megabits, right? So it's like 10% of my bandwidth. All right, so we should now have... Wait, what did we execute? Okay, btop version still 1.2.3. Huh. Sudo make install. So do I have to do a... maybe I have to do apt sudo apt uninstall btop first. So maybe I have to remove it from sudo apt remove. Yep. So btop now should no longer work. And now I should be able to sudo make install btop. Sudo make install. Sudo make install doesn't actually install. Or did it already, like, does it have sort of a build file folder or whatever? No. It's not using no install talk. Some make files no actions. Install latest btop on WSL. I don't. The problem is it just says, you know, it's apt install, but that obviously doesn't install the latest. That installs 1.2.3. Okay, what I can do is rm-rf btop, and then I can rerun this sudo make install btop. User local bin cd slash user slash local slash bin btop. Okay, so maybe. Okay. So it's just not executable from there or something? Alright, I'll have to figure that out. I don't actually use it very much, but I should probably figure it out. Okay, so it's running on beta. So if I restart the production site, we should also probably test this now to make sure it's still working. So if I refresh this now, some of these should now be gzip. That used to be BR. Okay, and it's still working. All right, let's see if people complain. Version control. Aye. All right. So I now want to commit this to make sure this desync doesn't happen again. Make sure there isn't any weird temp stuff in here. I'll do a double line here. Readable stream. I guess it can go here. This is the number that I'm wondering about, and I don't know for sure how to test that. And it should obviously not be in the file. It should be in a config. There's no weird console here. No extra logging. I guess there's that encoding equals blank for debugging. I think we'll leave that in as a hint. I wish I remembered why I disabled that, but it could have simply been because I didn't have enough time to test it thoroughly. Encoding is limit encoding. And then I set it to blank. And then if it was blank... I don't know. All right. So we're just going to commit this for now. So that's the simple server part done. We're not even halfway there because that was the easy one. Now, I don't actually... Is server the one that's on the website? Is that the 35K? Okay, so that's the one that's on the live site. So we downloaded that earlier. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to overwrite it with the current version, which is like a 10K of code. Right. And now we got to deal with this mess. For example, why do I have a factorial? Oh, okay. So I copied a whole bunch. I did the whole... I copied the Sudoku packing code in here. Now that shouldn't live in here for sure. But why did I put it in here? Am I using it? That's the question, right? Oh, handle API grid check, because I'm using it for this new API call. Oh man, why am I don't even remember why I do this. Oh geez. Cached checker cursor. Handle API checker grid check page size 1000. Grids. Okay, so we were testing something. Yeah, so that definitely shouldn't live in here. That's for sure. So first step is we're going to pull that into an external file. Yeah, this is some work I was doing with the university. I don't use a bundler. No bundler. So the Sudoku packing comes from Sudoku Tools, I want to say. Compression, Sudoku packing dot this. So the question is, A, is this similar to what we have there? Or did I already modify that? So if I look at this diff, is it just a couple of extra lines? Almost the same code, but not quite. Why? Why is it so close and yet so far? We have the helpers here. We just have a blank line, all right. We have an extra tab here, that's fine. So if I do this, I have to do this, I think, to be able to diff them. Okay, so it complains just about that. So if I do this, then we're just saying, hey, minus plus whatever. I don't know why it's doing that. And then this line. Okay, so just the module. Okay, so this file should be applicable. Now I don't know if it's the right module format, because I joined Node.js before the new module stuff, and yeah, I might not be completely up to date on that stuff, I'm afraid. So we have Sudoku packing JS. Can I just include that just like all these others? So can I just say Sudoku packing equals Sudoku packing.js. So if I do this and then delete all of that, boom, pow. If I undo, double check, yeah, no, I'm just deleting the things I want to delete. If I do this, does it still start? Now, the problem is I'm not really using that API, so I don't know if I've broken it. Okay, so here are the changes I made to the config to test the replay collection, so that's fine. There's a couple of console lines I'll probably align at the moment. All right. I don't remember what I was testing here. Oh yes, I remember what I was doing. I did something for Sandra Nala. I was trying to update a puzzle that doesn't have an API key and shouldn't have an API key. Line 3 to something, we changed 3 to 6. We changed the error return here. Instead of returning just blank, if I move that here, is that going to be less change? Yeah, but it's not actually going to help much. All right, so that I can deal with. So a lot of these are just additional error handling, I think. So we can probably get rid of that and that. And we don't want to have that extra logging on the server for obvious reasons, because it'll fill up the hard drive, right? And I constantly have problems with storage space on the server because it only has 30 gigs or 20 even. I don't know. Okay. Update HTML replay collect. Okay, so that stuff I did just recently, a couple of days ago when I was testing this. So this one, this does not work for cached plus encoded data. Interesting. Okay. So one of the things this does, it dynamically manipulates the HTML that gets sent out on the base file, so it can it can change the file depending on the config. So the idea is that the config doesn't go to the client, and the client does stuff, but the config stays on the server, and the server just serves a different index file basically that either includes or doesn't include the replay collection code. So people who for puzzles where replay data isn't collected, people don't actually download any code that does that. Okay, so I removed this, which was just another error handler. Am I reading this right? If HTML equals null, console error. We edited this out for some reason. Maybe we want that in there. And then we have some stuff that might be unrelated. So this looks like some testing I did. That shouldn't do any harm. Target. So if I get rid of that and bring that into another line, we're back to the original code here, right? Yes. Okay. Next change, line 611. Plausible proxy on proxy request. Why is that new? I was definitely testing something. Something wasn't working right. And I added this. I don't know. There was something not working right. And I was trying to get it to work right. I don't know why adding on after a close would have been useful. I just hope. Yeah, this is a bad habit I have. I sometimes investigate something like this, and I leave all this code sitting in there, and I don't deal with it, and then I have no clue what I was doing. Stuff like that, I need to get better in putting that into branches, or completing it, or removing it if I'm done with it, you know. Or at best, move it into an external file and call it like with a clean interface. Yeah. So we added two. So this code has never gone live. Wow. Why the frick do I do all this work and then I don't deploy it? So we have an API call for puzzle solved, which right now doesn't do anything. So this was work done in I think Clemson needed or thought they needed this API, and I started working on it. But this obviously isn't actually implemented. So I can actually, I just can move that out. So I can do this, put that in here, and take this and put that there. And now this is gone. And we have the grid check call, which, since it's not live, is also not being used. So I should also take it out. That's not just the smart, that's the correct thing to do. And I can save it somewhere, you know, I can get back to it. But right now, these API calls don't exist. Now this one I want to save under, I guess, the new back thing here. New API, new API roots pending .js. Sure. So if I do this now, all of that's gone. And then we don't even need Sudoku packing.js, I guess, because any code that was using it is gone now. So I'm gonna put that at the top here. So that's gone out of there. All right, so we're back to just updating the config. We are modifying this. And the config, yeah, let's get rid of the config change because that was just a test thing as well. So that goes away. I'm gonna put that here for now. I disabled the previous config. We can re-enable that. And then we'll just to make a minimal div. All right, so let's look into the actual changes here that aren't like the new thing I want to do. So we have this one. We have this line here. Right. So 390. Admin clear cache, admin create link. So what did we change here? We'll probably just cleaned up a few things, right? Remote address. Let remote address equal simple server. So I don't know why I moved it out. I think I did this just so I have access to these in the cache, in theory, right? But in practice, I probably didn't utilize that anymore. So I can probably do that. Oh, because of the try, right? So if I do this, let request JSON. Because I put that into the try catch here. So if I do this and request body, request JSON. So we basically just wrap that into a try catch in case we have and request body isn't used anywhere else, so we can just do let that. But request JSON, basically we might have a fail here, right? We might have a throw. Get request body. What does get request body do? Get request body. So instead of just parsing the request directly, we're turning it. Oh, because it's a stream or something. Inlet request data. Required short ID puzzle key. We're not even validating the data here either. But it's fine, I suppose. I mean, what if I put that in here? We just move that in here. Added the little error handler here. And then down at 526, we have a to-do here. And then instead of, so we're wrapping this into a unable to parse data, encoded, likely encoded cached. HTML slice 050. Update HTML replay collection. Okay, so that's part, that was probably a fix. So this looks like it's all improved error handling and so on. Sudoku packing, I'm just going to move that into the back folder, which is currently being ignored. So pending. I'm just going to put that there. So it doesn't show up in our diff here. So now I think this only has a few minor fixes and error logging. I don't know why caching is an issue with the replay collection, because it's data that we're getting sent from the client, right? Ah, no. Okay. I see. All right, I think we can commit this. And then at least we're synced. And then, and we'll sync it without any collection in it for now, right? So the last thing we'll do is we'll remove all this. Right. So these were campaigns that we've done in the past, in 2024, ages ago, right? So we're just gonna make the campaigns empty. So we have a bunch of removes, right? Now, this should be refreshed. So we can now reload this. Error content decoding failed. Okay, so that breaks. Update HTML replay collect. Yeah. Update HTML, unable to parse data. This does not work for cached encoded data. Okay, so the problem is it's trying to update the HTML, but we're caching the encoded and BR compressed data. And that's why okay. Okay, so we have sort of, yeah, all right. So the problem here is, let's see, okay. Okay, so that's the thing we actually need to work on, right? So we have, we'll just have that. Right. And then we'll say, okay, what's our short ID like? What's our puzzle? I don't know what's getting passed in there. We're gonna output the headers. Let's do it in order for now. I'm just, one of these might be big data, right? So if I do this, right? So we get the puzzle data, which is kind of curious and it's kind of neat. Let's just, one sec. Can I do this? If I do like that, right? Ah, here we go. So puzzle comes from the database. Okay. Man, I wonder how much processing this actually adds. Oops, what? So for every time, because at this point we're not including the puzzle data here, we're just looking it up because we need to check something against it, right? I wonder how much processing this adds. Huh. Anyway, there's a lot of issues like low-hanging fruit, easy fixes, but when to do them and how they interact with other things and how to test it so I don't break the frickin' site. That's the tricky part. All right. Like part of me, there's a small part of me that says, oh, you know, if you wait long enough, the site will completely break anyways, and then you can finally fix it because then the site is broken anyways, and you don't have to worry about breaking the site anymore. All right. So, all right. So that's the puzzle data. Sure. That's the short ID. And these are the headers. Okay. So, first of all, the puzzle is just the puzzle. That's fine. The headers tell us... They don't tell us anything. They don't tell us the encoding. Oh, that's a problem. All right. Because I was hoping that I could just decode the data, right? Ah, wait, but we have HTML. Like, it says decode here. So, HTML. If I refresh, it's not decoding the data. Oh, shoot. Because it's looking at the headers, but the headers are from where? Encoding undefined. Encoding undefined. What about the headers? So the headers are this. Modify Sudoku HTML. This handle serve puzzle. Okay, so handle serve puzzle. Handle serve puzzle. Headers. Request response. Modify. Wait, modify. Resource headers modifier. Serve static. Modifier. Okay, so okay, all right. Now we're going full circle, right? So we're hitting serve static, which has those changes in, which is probably what I was working on ages ago, right? So serve static gets a modifier function, and it's gonna put in the request headers. Now, the request headers here we need the response headers. The request headers aren't going to tell us the encoding of the response. So request headers is this. These are the wrong headers. What's the encoding here? And we have request headers, accept encoding. Because we are serving the file here, and we have to serve the encoding off the file, right? Like, we have to tell request headers. Man, this is... If encoding. Because it feels like I'm reusing the request headers for the response here, which seems a bit strange. Like... Encoding is BR, right? But until we get to down here, we're not actually putting that into this. Right head request headers. Request. These aren't the request headers. Request. No. These are the response headers. Response headers. Because the request headers are here. And headers is what the response header should be. So I completely misnamed these. And that's why I'm confusing myself. But it means they're also still incorrect. So the modifiers need to know this. So the encoding needs to happen before the modifier. So if I do this, right? And then refresh. Oh. You see, because now we have encoding here, and we can do something with the encoding. Now, I'm a little concerned. It should be, this piece shouldn't be running for all of these. But I think what we're seeing here is these logs getting spammed. So if I do this, right, and I reload this page, we get a bunch of these. No. We're starting here. We get headers 1 here for this URL. Broadly encoding. It does the replay blah 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 replacement. And I'm outputting the headers a second time for some reason. So we have handle serve puzzle. Then we are outputting headers somewhere. Probably these. We're outputting encoding. And then we have the update HTML replay collect, which is this one, where we're also outputting the headers. Okay. So if I remove these and remove these, right? And now our diff should become sane. Simple server needed another update here. Mostly moving that line here. And well, I renamed the request headers, but okay, but it's a cohesive change, I think. Right. What did that do here? Nothing. Okay, that's what we want to see. So now that works. Is it tested and reliable? No. Is it a big change to be scary? Yes. And that's why some of these things don't happen. So we've now updated this. And which part here is different from what's currently live? Because what's currently live is working, right? We didn't sync this yet. In fact, it's all of server. We just removed those two API calls, which were a huge amount of code, and we just removed all of these. So this is all of the change right now. Okay, so let's double check what we're doing here. This one is fine. This one is fine. This one was the problem. So this was the to-do item. Does not work for cached encoded data. And at the time, I didn't realize why. And it was basically just because the encoding wasn't passed through. Now, if I remove this, right, what did I actually change? Because whatever was there before was working, or is live right now, right? So what did I change? Unable to parse data. So we are checking that. This was just commented out. So this stuff has nothing to do with it. These are just no ops, right? So is that the only change we made? M equal her and body HTML. And oh, it was literally just this error message, right? Which means also, yeah, so we were just not outputting an error, but it was because it was just coming back with null. It was just not gonna work. Cool, so this is actually something we need to do for the replay thing to work. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is, the problem is this, it also needs to go live into production. Oh, well, it will be because it's the server. Yeah, it's by definition, it's live in production. All right. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play a puzzle and just see if I can go through a puzzle. I mean, there's no reason why this is really just to do with loading the puzzle, right? This is not a guess. This is the puzzle from tomorrow. So spoiler alert, this is what's gonna happen tomorrow. So it's probably fairly standard, rules. So this is probably a 1, 2, 4. This is probably a 1, 2, 3. This is supposed to be a very easy puzzle. So that's the 4, 2, 1. This is 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. This is 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No 3. No 1, 2. These can't be 5 or 6. Can this be a 4? No. So 1, 2, 5 or 6. All right. And then this would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. So it could be 4, 5 or 3, 5. 4, 5 or 3, 5. It can't be 3, 5. 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 6. So that's a 9. That's an 8. 1, 2, 5. So it's got to be a 3, 5. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. 1, 2, 3. So that's at least a 4. No, that's at least 6. Okay. So 6, and that's a 1 or a 3. Can't be. Okay, so that's a 3, 6, and 9. 4, 7. That's an 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 4 goes here. 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4, 5, 7 here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 7 goes here. 5 does not go here. So that's just 5, 7 here. 3, 6, well, that can't be the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 7. So we have 1, 8, 9. 8, 1, 9, 1, 2. 4. And then down here we have 4, 6, 9, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry if I'm just counting loudly in my head the whole time. I'm just counting through the numbers and seeing which ones I need to place and which ones already taken care of somewhere. Okay, that's 2 here. Well, it can't be a 9. So it's gotta be the 3. Now that can be a 9. Uh-oh. What did we miss? Where does the 3 go? Okay. Oh, the 3 would have to go here then. Oh, now I'm not sure anymore that I didn't make a mistake somewhere. Wow, okay, did not expect that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's some crazy pencil marking here. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm gonna be a 5 here. Can this be a 4? No. Can this be an 8 or 7? No. So that's a 7 here. 8, 5, 7, 8. 7, 5, 3, 5, 7, 5, 9. Oop, 5. Can't be a 2, 5, can't be a 3, 4. Gotta be a 1, 6. 7, 6. 8, 8, 6. And then this is a 9. Whoop. 9, 8, 9. And then we have 8 here, 2 here, 7 here. Cool. All right, so that worked. I'm going to commit that. Then I'm going to add our... I'm going to see if I can externalize the config, because it makes deployment a bit safer. So, fixed, replay, what's the AP, what's the fixed, encoding handling. Right, and we need that as an update to both of these. Okay. All right. Do I want to deploy this right now? I feel like I want to deploy this so it can be tested while I keep working. So if there's a problem, I'll learn about it sooner rather than later. So let's do a backup of the server file. Wait, which one did we do a backup for? Simple server, right. So we want to do a cp server.js to server underscore 20260405.js, just in case I need to do a quick revert. Then I don't have to mess with GitHub and I mean I could have tagged the version before I made all these changes, but it's really just whatever there was earlier today, right? It's basically just, you know, this version earlier. Okay. Oh, did I? Okay, I pushed that. That's fine. All right. So, can I use just the regular deploy script? I'm not even sure because I don't know if it'll overwrite my backups. Deploy server. I think I can. It's just gonna deploy these files, right? All right, let's just do that then. From here. Because that should also do a server restart. No, it does not. Okay. So if I do this, in the meantime, we can just also just peek at this. So it's peaked 36 megabits per second. Actually, let's also... don't need this for a sec here. Let's also close this. Let's do this. So traffic is... the user counts should spike slowly. So if we look at this... yeah, these graphs are so weird because of the way the unique user detection works. It always downtrends, which means it changes what the unique user estimated count was at a particular point in time as time changes. So as this moves backwards, this low number won't arrive here. It'll go up as it goes back. So I kind of want to look at the page views numbers. Can I wish I could look at like the last hour. If I look at last 24 hours instead of today, like I wish I could just say the last 6 hours or the last 3 hours or something. Because this spiky behavior is a bit... like here I see how the traffic grows towards the end of the day, you know? So if I look at the last 7 days, right? We got these... the late evening spikes from the CTC videos, basically. Alright, I think we're just gonna leave that open. And we can look at this. So now we're gonna do... whoops. We're going to... Ooh, what am I doing? PM2 list. PM2 restart. Restart. And we're gonna restart beta first. And then we're gonna test this puzzle that we just played, wherever that was. Wherever that was. And we're gonna play it again on beta. So, and I want the console open. Now, the server is currently restarting, which means it's not going to be responsive for a minute. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. This is not a good sign. Oh, why are we struggling? I mean, okay, some of these URLs are gibberish. They're obviously doubly encoded or something. But it feels like there's something else also not right. Now, hopefully that's only affecting beta. The CPU will be high loaded while the server is caching the full database, because that's what it does. It shouldn't, but it's what it does. Helpful thing. What are you saying here? Yeah, right now I can't load anything, unfortunately. And I don't know if it's because of the server restart or not. This is usually a bad sign. Update HTML replay collect. Update HTML replay collect. Line 543. 543. No, that's not right. At update HTML replay connect. Update HTML. That's the wrong line number. God damn it, these stack traces. Urgh. 570. 570 is down in the router somewhere. 570. Yeah, it's not 570, you dummy. It's got the right function. Cannot read properties of null. Modify Sudoku HTML. So currently nothing is loading. The problem is I don't know if it's because it's broken. or because the server is just restarting. So this is exactly what we're running locally right now, and locally it works fine. Let me just make sure. I mean, my local server just auto restarts all the frickin' time, so. So it works perfectly fine locally. Shoot. Where is my test puzzle that I just played? Okay, wait. It loaded this one. 3.6 seconds. This wasn't 3.6 seconds. This was like half an hour. Where is the one I literally just played? I literally just played a puzzle, and now the window, it's just no, double trouble. No, where is the freaking puzzle? I didn't close anything. I mean, I did close something, but not the puzzle. We literally just I'm not going crazy, right? We all watched me play a puzzle together, and it wasn't this one. We play fast, right? No, where is the puzzle we just played? Is it, here we go. Why is it over here suddenly? I'm pretty sure that's not what was not my intention. Okay. So now it seems to be running. Like we refreshed it, right? We still get errors, but these might just be standard errors from puzzles. Like for example here, how does there's some weird encoding issues, and I don't know if they're on my end or if somebody links them badly. Like I don't have a context if this is the normal number of errors that are coming through here. And my logs aren't very good. I don't even have dates and times on them. But I can load this puzzle right now, and I can refresh the puzzle. Nobody's reporting errors in the chat. Okay, but this is just on beta, right? I guess we'll play it. Should be faster the second time round. So I have this. This is a 1, 2, 3. No 1 in the middle. This is 1, 2 with a 9. This is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't have a 3, so it can't be a 6. Can't be a 7. So it's got to be an 8. Can't have a 6 now. 4 or 5. Since it can't have a 3, it can't be 1, 3, 4. It has to be 1, 2, 5. And then this is gotta be, ooh, yeah, 3, 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Here we go. Not a 4, 1 anymore. This can't be a 2. Oops, 1, 2. This can't be 1, 2, or 3. It can't be a 4, can't be a 5, so it's got to be 6, 7, 8. And this smallest is 3, so 3, 6, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And we got that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9. 6, 4. 1, 2, 3, so that's an 8. 1, 2, 3, and 5. So that's 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. All right, 1, 2, 6, and 8. All right, that's not a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. 8 goes here. 8 does not go here. So 4 goes here. And then this is 5, 6, 7. And then this is 9. 1, 8. All right. And then these are 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 2 goes here, not here, here. 3 and 9. Well, that can't be a 9, so that resolves all of these. Resolves this as well. And then these are 3, 5, 8. And then these are 4, 5, 7, 8. 4, 5, 5, 8. 4. That's gotta be 4, 7, 8, 5, 8, 7, 5, 7, 5. This can't be, okay, that's gotta be 1, 6. Remember that. And oh, here we have only one option. That's gonna be a 9. And then these are 4 and 5 like this. This is gotta be a 9, which resolves these. And finally, I guess we just do this. And then we can do this here as well. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 8, 6, 8, 7, 1, 2, nope, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now, what I don't know is if these errors are something the new code is generating, encoding errors in other words, or if these are errors from bad links from the outside, right? Let us do the New York Times puzzles as well, because I see something related to that there. So NYT. So let's do these. Okay, it loaded immediately, no error. So I don't think my site is generating these errors. Because I feel like sometimes other people's websites, they link to the wrong, they mess up the encoding because they're URL encoding these IDs. So they somehow end up double encoded. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Like there's a lot of them, right? But it could be somebody's script doing that, right? And that their script is used a lot or something. I don't know. All right, let's play this one as well. Let's, you know, I gotta get it out before midnight UTC, and it's 8 o'clock now, 8:30, and I have to have dinner as well. So they want to launch their puzzle at midnight, so it's gonna be a struggle. Well, this is URL encoding, right? So somebody is trying to access a puzzle with this puzzle ID when clearly it's supposed to be, so the %25 here is the encoding of the percent symbol, so it becomes %2f, and %2f is slash. So it's basically this short ID, right? And I bet you if I open this, it just works. Yeah, so this just works. So this doesn't generate an error. But somewhere along the line, somebody is encoding this ID incorrectly as a URL encoding, which then gets gibberish on my end because I'm not decoding it because it's not a URL encodable parameter, right? If that's just the URL, you can't just send something different as a URL. But it's a very, very common error I'm seeing in my logs a lot. And you know, it harms my systems. This fills up my server, right? If I check disk free, you know, I have 8 gigabytes left, and that fills up pretty quickly with this amount of log spam, right? So I wish people wouldn't do that, but obviously I can't control what other people's broken systems do, so I need to make my system resilient against it. Which is, again, time I'm spending not doing other things. So there we go. All right. Speed solve, power. All right. So 7 goes in here. 8s, nope, 9s. 9 goes here. 9, I guess. here. All right. 1, 2s. All right, 3s. 4s. Here, 5s. Here. Here. All right, 6s. Here. 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 7s. Here, but that's got to be here because we need a 7 here. Here. All right, that's a 2-7 pair pushing the 9 up here. This can't be 1-5. So these are 1-5-9. So this has got to be 8. This is 1-5-9. Like this. Does that 8 do something? Not sure. All right, let's go around the digits again. So we now know there's a 1 here. 7 there. 7 there. All right, 2s. Let's do them in order. Let's do them in order. 3s. 4s. Okay. 5s. 5s. Also nothing. 6s. 7s. 8s again. All right, I think we need to mark up more. So this is 6 or 9. Okay, here we go. And then these 4 are 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6, 6. All right, and that's 3, 4, 5, 8 with no 4, no 4 here, no 5 here. Okay. Oh. 1, 2, 4, 9. 9. This 9 is here now. It's a 2 here. Okay. 1, 2, 4, 8. 2, 8. All right, 1, 4. Interesting. So that's 2, 3, and 8 in these. Okay. 2, 8. So that's 3, 5, 9 in these. 3 down here. 1, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, mega nose tingle. 9 is down here. All right, let's speed this up a little. This can't be 1 and 4. So that's got to be 1. 3, 4, 8, 5, 3, 4, 2, 8, 4. And then these are 1 and 8. And then these two are 5 and 8. As you can tell, I'm not a professional Sudoku YouTuber or streamer. Yeah, but like if I can't just randomly change characters just because somebody throws, you know, I can't just, I've done this a lot. I've tried to guess what other systems do, but if another system does a broken and bad thing, why should I compensate for their bug, right? They should not do the wrong thing. Otherwise I might as well just throw it at ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, guess what puzzle they're trying to load? I mean, you know, I don't know why, whose system is broken like this and why this is happening. But it's not something I'm doing. It's something, somebody else's system is broken. And maybe more than one, right? Because it seems to happen relatively quite a few hits. But since it's hitting beta, it's either something nefarious, like, you know, a spammer or whatever, right? Like, or it's like you know, an old script by ranks that he's not using anymore or something, because not a lot of people are linking directly to beta. But either way, I don't really want to expend effort trying to compensate for that. The only thing I might do is like block it from the logs, but to be honest, my log system needs an overhaul anyway, so I'd rather spend time doing that. Ideally, you know, people don't strain my service with their bugs. But in the long run, obviously, I need to build something that makes my system resilient against other people's abuse. All right, we're missing a 3. All right, so that worked. So now this is on beta. Let us look into production. So you see, even on production, we get like weird URLs that just don't exist. I don't know where these come from, right? Web app / somebody's putting web app in there. Why? I don't know. It would work if the word web app wasn't in there. But because I don't have date and time on these log lines, I don't know if this is just errors that accumulated over a long period of time. Like these could be 1 per month, right? It might not be a serious issue. All right, let us restart production. Now that is gonna hit the server pretty hard as well. So CPU will max out. And we're gonna all right, this is, oh, it's not terrible. It's restarting. Okay, it's okay. That restart seemed a lot smoother than the restart of beta earlier. I wonder if there's something there that I should be paying attention to. I wonder. Okay, let's do the medium puzzle. It should be a little bit faster. I kind of do these every day, mostly as a just as a routine, and kind of make sure I run the site and have some awareness of issues and stuff, and not just relying on Discord pinging me, which I do a lot as well. So don't hesitate to ping me if there's an issue. I can't see everything all the time. I'm just one person. So there's a 3 in here, which puts a 3 there. 2 up here. So 2 here, 2 here, 7s. 6 this. 8. 1, 5, and 8. 5 can't be here. It's 1 and 8. 5 or 8, 1 and 5. 6s, 7s. All right. 8s. Whoop. 9s. Here and here. Right. That's a 1, 9 here, which pushes the 7 here. All right, 2s. Here. Okay. 3s. Okay. 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. 5, 7, and 8. 5, 7, and 8. Oh, just 2, and that's got to be 9, right? All right, so this has got to be the 1. And then 5, 4, 5, 7. All right. 1, 4, 5, 9. I gave you a puzzle you can solve in 1 second. Do you need to go long, do longs? And puzzling is fun. Don't get me wrong. There's a test. Entering 1 4 times should cover the basics. Well, the problem is I've been in the past, like, if I don't at least solve a puzzle, to be honest, I'm not just solving the puzzle. I'm also keeping an eye on the stats and giving it some time to fail from other people's use. Because if I don't solve a puzzle, there's a lot of things that aren't getting checked. And don't ask me exactly which, right? So that's the problem. It's the things you don't think to check. It's the things that you didn't think of that your puzzle won't do. So, for example, I've done this many times, and I played a classic puzzle, and then I had broken something with non-classics somehow, completely unexpectedly. Didn't even, no clue how it's even possible, but somehow I did it, right? So unfortunately, like this is, I'm not saying this is a good procedure, but it's slightly better than what you're suggesting, and it's still really not very good. It's not really good enough for my own standards, but my own standards are not really achievable generally. All right, let me just redo these because I lost track, and now I thought I had a 4-8 pair in here, yeah. So that means I can take a 4-8 out of here. So I got a 2-7. Yeah, I don't know how that became a 2-8. So I'm kind of doing this as the bare minimum. Like, at least I know it solves a classic puzzle. You know, as the bare minimum, I can say that much. And maybe it covers actually a fairly quite a large number of players potentially, right? Like I have a like, don't get me wrong, I have a test puzzle. I have this one. This is my tiny test puzzle because it has an actual solution, and I put in 1 digit, and I use it a lot. So thanks for that suggestion. And also sometimes this keeps me kind of sane that I get to actually play. Yeah, it's not just the puzzle that I'm testing. It's also like me using the app. Like I'll notice things that are broken or aren't good enough, which I wouldn't otherwise, right? And I don't get that much time to play, so I need to kind of force myself to play. Sadly, I wish I could just play naturally. All right, 7. All right, 5. 5, 1, 7. All right, this is 4-8, and then this one 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5 can't be 4 and 5. All right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I feel like I'm missing something here. 7, 8. Not 4 or 5. So 3 or an 8. 2, 3, 8. With the 8 down here. 2 up this, pointing up this way. Okay, that's what I'm missing. Okay. 8, 4, 5, 3, 8, 7, 4, 3, 5, 4, 8, 2, 3, 8. Well, for example, I used to do the daily CTC every day, and now for a long time now I haven't had time, and it's not good because I miss out, for example, on crazy things people do. Like I don't sometimes even find out about that. You can do any of the New York Times ones. If you go to sudokupad.app/assets/nyt.html. So, you know, sudokupad.app/assets/nyt.html. And then you just can play them from there. And then they just link to each other for the day. All right, I'm almost done with this one so far. The other thing I do is I look at the traffic, right? If my traffic dips, that's usually a sign that there's a problem. But unfortunately, it doesn't really, like, for example, is that a dip? I don't know. So, and this graph is really kind of zigzaggy. So unless more than an hour passes, it's hard to tell if the trends are already indicating something problematic. All right, We got 2 here. 2 here. 2, 3, 4 in these. 2, 3, 4. So there's a 4 here. 2 and 3. Okay. 3, 5, 6 in these. So that's got to be a 3, and 5 and 6. And then we have 2 and 7 in these two, which makes this a 3. And then these 3 are 1, 5, 6. 1, 2, 7, 9. 7, 9. 9, 9, 9. Okay. There. All right. All right. Well, one of the things I would have loved to do is to have a forced testing day where, like, once per week, I just redirect everybody to beta, or I serve beta as production for like 3 hours, or like every day for an hour or something. Because sometimes I have things on beta for months, and then when I deploy it, there's a break immediately, or it breaks certain puzzles, certain workflows, or certain settings that I don't personally use. You know, there's so many settings now, so many puzzles, so much history that you can't test it exhaustively. 1, 2, and 6. 1 doesn't go in here. And we have 2 here and 6 here. That means 3 here and 5 there. And that puts a 4 here. And then these two are 2 and 5. And this one is 3. And up here we have 2, 7, and 9. So 2 here, 7 there. The 7 here, 2 here, 4 here. 6 in the corner. That's 6 in the corner. All right. We need a 5. These two are 5 and 6 because of this 5. And then, so the other trick is if you press Alt and Shift and the digit when nothing is selected, it tells you where the digit can go. So you can sometimes kind of lazily finish these fairly quickly. And it sometimes helps me to see things. There we go. All right. So this looks like it's working. So now the problem is, do you need this anymore? The problem is, I don't know if the configuration, no, it should just work now. Okay, so we have some sort of configuration getting loaded in. Like we have twitchbot settings.json, for example. So let's see, JSON. .json. Okay, we are using right, replay, manifest, static routes. Yeah, so the TwitchBot settings are loaded by TwitchBot, not by this thing. How does TwitchBot load these? Settings file name. So we're literally just doing that, huh? We're just opening the file and parsing it. Why wouldn't you? Okay, we have TwitchBot settings. We have svgo config. I don't think that's being used by the server though. Because I'm just checking if the server is currently reading any kind of external config, and I don't think it is. Because it's like, do I just want to load in that file? Ideally not. Ideally the config is, you know, is set up better. FS promises watch. Use FS. Move into file reach agreement. Okay, let's just do this. So let's save this file as what's this called? Replay. Wait, what do I call it? Replay collection config. So we call it replay collection config.json, and we're actually gonna put it here, I guess. And then we can do this. FS promises.watch. How does that exactly work? FS FS watch. Like, does this fire something? Watch this. File name options. Options indicates whether all subjects should be watched or only current directory. This applies when blah 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 blah. Returns async iterator object with the properties. Event type. File name. Name of the file change. Returns async iterator that the watches for changes in file name. File name is either file or directory. So for await const event of watcher. Oh, I see. Okay. That is not trivial. Because it's basically waiting on the refresh. Well, we have FS promises. So we've got that. I'm gonna do this here for a sec. Just to isolate this little shenanigan here. Wait. I think we want to do this. So I'll do a few const config fn equals replay collection config.json. Is that gonna be the right place? We're going to path.resolve. I don't know if that's actually gonna work like this. Config fn. No. If I do path resolve file name, okay, and if I do path.join, if I do this server, isn't there a deer name? 1, 2, 3, 4. If I do the not deer red name, isn't there this? But I think it might be. I might have to capitalize it. No, there's a deer name. So the join is src replay config. Yes. Okay. Let's just do this. And then we can do path.resolve just to see what shenanigans it might get up to. Okay, no, that looks fine. All right. So now we can do a couple more cons here. So the abort controller. So abort timeout ms equals, let's do 3000 for now. like that. FSP watch that. Signal is board controller. Signal. I'm gonna make this more explicit. Signal. I think I like that better. Otherwise, it's just gonna confuse the hell out of me. 4 awake const event of watcher. Okay. And then we have this. So, if I now save this, nothing. Okay. pc.abort. Okay. Abort. Abort time. Oh. If I do this, 1, 2, 3. Abort timeout. Okay. So after when this happens, one second. Okay, console log start watcher. Watcher done. Yeah, I think somebody's done a extension for that. You can test it with OCR and some coding. You can look at each after flips something behave different from the day before. Yeah, I've thought about like doing, you know, fuzzing testing and stuff like that, but again, the time I spent building that, I might as well just fix the code, write better code and stuff. So I don't have like a big team and nothing to do. It's always kind of the problem. So we have the abort timeout. So if I save this and now I save this, event. Okay, so the abort timeout is simply what stops the watch here. Because I kind of want to wrap this into something, right? So we want to have a little function. So we'll do something like this. Function watch file fn change handle change, right? And then it basically does this. So then we can just do this, handle change, event, boom. And then we can return the abort controller. We don't have a timeout in here. Right, and here we're gonna return AC. Right. Error name equals abort error. If error name abort error return. Console.error abort. Actually, console.error error. Right. So now instead of doing all of this, we're gonna do const AC equals watch file. We have config fn. Boom. We have const handle or function handle config change. So then we can say something like console.log handle config change event, and then we'll pass this handler in here, and then we'll output the AC, the abort controller, and then we'll do this. Set timeout, abort timeout, about timeout, ms, boom. So save it, boom. Event, event. Did I not save this file? Now we have the event here. Event, blah, blah, blah. Handle config change. Handle config change. I don't see handle config change being executed. The abortion was aborted. Okay. Abort timeout, sure. But where is my handle config change? Handle change. Handle config change. Console.log. Watch file. FN. That's our file. And the handle change should be an event handler. Boom. Did I see handle change here somewhere? Change. Why does event colon fire twice? Oh, yeah. No brackets here, so this example is just terrible coding. So if I do this, right, and then save that, yeah, because it just would never execute that. Now, I don't know why it executes twice. So we might need to do a debounce. Like, why would that fire twice? Event type change. So maybe there's something here. Returns, blah, blah, blah. Okay, overflow, I ignore. Options, returns. Async iterator object with the properties, event type, type of change. Okay, so this fires twice for each change. So it's probably like is unstable, has known behavior with regards to repeated notifications, especially with Windows case being a result of Windows design where a single file mode can be multiple calls to the Windows API. I was having the same problem while testing Windows. I switched to a fswatch file instead of fs.watch. Marked as unstable, but it solved my issue. fs.watch file. Watch file. Stop watching for changes on file if listener is specified. Only the particular listener is removed. What? Is more using fswatch is more efficient than fswatch file. And fsunwatch file should be used instead of fswatch file. Okay, but we do have a debounce function. It's not in here. Let's see. So it's in utilities, right? And it's called throttle. Throttle. Now here we do have a throttle function. Okay. So we have helpers in here somewhere with a throttle function. Min delay, max delay. Okay, so if I say, if I kind of do that in here, let's see, watch file, right? And then we'll do throttle function. Let's just do this quickly. So, const change handler equals throttle function handle change min delay milliseconds, let's say 500, max delay 1000. So if we do something like that, and then execute that instead. Yeah, now we only get one. All right. And the abort, the timeout can be handled from the outside. The question is, if I don't ever abort, can the process still stop the normal way? I suppose. Okay. So, let's clean up this code. We don't need this timeout right now. The question is, replay collection config. Is anything in here only used once? No, I think every time we're hitting this, it goes through that. So we should be able to do this, right? Put that in here. Like that. Like that. We probably need to do this. Like, make it good boy Jason. Like that. Like that. Okay. Then, what we probably want to do here is... we want to try... catch error console.error error I'm just gonna do something like this, or .toString, I guess. And then here, const config JSON equals JSON.parse. We probably want to do fs read file or whatever. So await fsp.read file. Wait, read file. Kind of like that, right? We want to kind of do that. sp read file config fn, basically config const console.log. All right, I think we're getting pretty close. And to be honest, I want to do the same thing for like the routes, although that might not work as well. Missing after argument list. Await FSP async function. Save. Okay. Now, for example, if we do this, we get a watch file error. Okay. We're also gonna console. God damn it. We're also gonna output the current replay collection config, like that. Yeah, but calculating the checksum, it's just a little bit of JSON. Calculating the checksum isn't gonna is gonna take more effort because it doesn't actually act on it. It just updates it, right? All right. So if I do this, it's that, right? Let's say if I change this to 30,000, it doesn't update it because it's not valid. If it's valid, it reads it but doesn't update it because I haven't done that code yet. All right, 1 second. Toby just arrived. Hey, Poochie, hey, babe. Hey, Poochie. Toby, come. Oh, he's mad because I'm still streaming. Come here. I need to finish this. It's important. How was your day? You went traveling. You went to the other island. Hey, Toby. I missed you. I missed you. It's a day again. I didn't see you all day. All right, Toby. I'm gonna try to finish as quickly as I can. Okay? But I have to test this. This is kind of important. I could break the whole site. All right, Poochie. I'll be with you in a bit. Okay? Good boy. All right. All right. I'm gonna have to do this. Finish this very, very quickly. All right. So what I want to do is we want to do object.assign. We want to okay, because I was going to use object assign because it's a const to update it, but that would mean if I remove a key, that key wouldn't get removed. But I do want to do use object assign because this is annoying, right? I want to use object assign because if any other piece of code holds on as a reference to this object, I want to basically just manipulate the keys in that object, right? But if I ever remove a key, I cannot remove that unless I actually specifically remove that key. So I'm basically gonna have to do that. So for const key of yada 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 of object.keys, we're just gonna do delete that key. And that should do the trick. And then we should be able to just do object assign this with the new config. And now this should be different, even though it's a constant. Haha. So if I do this, now it's updated. Now if I delete this, it should be deleted. Huh? Oh yeah. It got changed. It decided to put it in one line, and now it's back. So now it's always going to use this config. The watch file is going to go into helpers. We're just going to put that here. Export throttle func. Export watch file. We probably don't want to handle that in here. We'll probably want to do a try catch around this whole shenanigan. Well, we probably don't need the function in here. Console.error watch file error.toString. Okay. I'm gonna leave a note to myself like that. It's abort, right? Yes, AC abort. Timeout doesn't make sense here, obviously. The whole point is to watch it. And then we have this. And it's actually this. Cool. And watch file, we're actually gonna just pull out of the same place out of the helper out of the helper place. Here we go, where throttle funk is coming from. We're gonna do that, and then this watch file won't even exist anymore, right? And then we don't really need to do that. And then we kind of do this. This is our preloaded whatever. It's basically the default config, right? Okay. Okay. Ah, that's why. Config fn is not fn. Here we go. Save. If I put a trailing comma, it'll get a syntax error, expect local property, international line, blah blah blah. Now, if I make a change and make an error, it will not update. If I remove the error and make a change, it'll update. So we've done that. And the cool thing is, I think even if the file doesn't exist at all, it'll still... I probably need to run this once at the start. So we probably want to do this. We don't need to pass event in because we're not using it. So if I now do this, and if this is different, yeah, so it's already at 30,000. So whatever goes in here is the main, the thing that matters. Buffer the content of the file and only fire the event. All right, so now we need to find where I dumped the original config that I was using for testing. So I think it's this one, right? So if I now put a campaign in here, which now needs to be JSON formatted, unfortunately, I hate that formatting, but I understand why we need it. All right. Can put this here, put that there. We need to, oh shit, dates. Blah, 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 blah. Aye. 220260001 dash 01 dash 01. 1231. So if I do this, right, we need to parse the dates. Config JSON dot campaigns dot so if I do this, right, for const campaign off this console.log campaign, right, that should just output each campaign, and then we can do that again, and then we'll say campaign dot start date if campaign dot start date equals new date start date. Does that work? Seems like it would work. And again, we have our try catch, which hopefully will protect the server from the most catastrophic mistakes. Okay. So now we need to test it. So for example, we have this. No. At least that doesn't crash anymore. That used to crash Explorer all the freaking time. So we have this. If I do this, right? Save it, it'll insta refresh. And now, if I refresh this page, it should now have a collect replay script here. And if I do this, what does collect replay do? I don't know. It's a mystery. Let's see what collect replay does. It's a file that exists. Here we go. It talks to API replay submit. So if I look at submit, we're here. There is a check of when it decides if it should submit or not. The post replay in it, handle dialog solved. To do add test flex and query string. Has force replay submit. Status contains. Status is array status. Storage key. Replay ID. So it's server client side trying to avoid it's trying to avoid posting a replay more than once. Right. So if I delete this and now do this in network, it hits replay submit. It submitted the replay. And if I now look at the server under the data folder, replays, test 2026, there should be one with today's date, which is this one, right? And if I now go somewhere else and I say import, export, replay, save, load, can I drag that? Is that? No. Because the replay is not stored as a replay file. It is stored with some metadata. Okay. Okay, so I can't just load it in, but I guess if I took what it says here on the replay and put that into a file, I could probably load that as a replay. Okay, so that should work. I'm gonna set that up off stream and launch it before tonight. Before I do that, we actually want to push these changes. Actually, no, you know what? Let's do it, right? I'm supposed to be doing it, so let's do the thing, right? So the campaign is going to be it's somewhere here. Max heap site. Okay, we never put this back. Maybe I'll also put that in here, just so I don't even remember which of the two files it was in. If it was simple server or why is it? Because I moved it to pending. Yes, it's the same file, trust me. All right, so delete that. Did I put it here? No. Did I put it here? No. Ooh, where's that? That's moved, right? It's moved to pending. Yeah, okay. So close that, close that. Where are okay, I thought I copied that over. All right, so the information I got from Clemson is we want this puzzle this particular puzzle is the one that needs to be collected tonight. So let's set it up. So it's this ID, which we already have. We'll do this. And it's supposed to be 0406. And then I'm guessing I'm just going to do 0407. And that should be 24 hours, because that should be midnight of that day. And max replays probably will collect, let's say, 2,000 max. I think 1,000 is enough. We're not going to get 1,000 plays on that one puzzle. I think this is going to be what we want to do. So this should have now been refreshed here. We don't want the server spamming that out all the time, though. So that we can't spam the log with this stuff. But it looks like it's updated without restarting the server, which is kind of the point. We might want to say console replay config updated. On a new date. Like if I do this, right? Yeah, so at least we have one line in code in the log, and then if something happens, we'll know why. Now, we have a bunch of stuff lying around. Let me close these files so I don't forget anything. Okay, I don't think these need saving. Neither do these. Okay, so this is something different. This is current update. This is something different. This is current update. Right. And is this all in the right folders? Not exactly. So if I deploy server, I don't think it'll deploy. Wait. No, it's deploying everything on the server. Ah, okay, but wait, what? Where's SRC? Deploy server. Oh, goddamn, it's some MK here. Okay, so it doesn't deploy the config. Deploy server config. So so we want to skip that part. We go straight to the rsync. We want to do asterisk.json. This probably should be on a config folder, and I'm probably gonna regret not doing that. But for now, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna make the mistake with open eyes. All right. So npm run. Oh wait. What was mega scrolling here? Why? Why are we getting so many errors? We didn't deploy anything new. You see, so this could be a spider. So this could be just like a bad URL from somewhere. And this is probably a bot. And it's just hitting all these URLs. And just trying to get them all. And I don't know where they're coming from. Or why, or anything like that. Google doesn't know where this comes from, right? So somebody might have a database and they're just hitting my server and it's just filling up my log files. But I don't know where it's getting these from. And why it's getting them wrong, because it could get the puzzles, right? If it didn't have Sudoku / at the front, The puzzle exists. I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been that Sudoku was there like a long time ago, like in the first month, and there's a redirect for these. You see, it does an auto redirect, so I don't even know. Jesus Christ, they're really hitting it hard. So those URLs exist, but they automatically redirect. But because they're directly hitting the API, they're not hitting the redirects, and they're just getting 404s. So somebody's and I'm sure over the years, many people have been trying to hit all the puzzles. So this could be from any of the spreadsheets that are out there. I don't know, maybe somebody spidered Logic Masters Germany, because these are really old ones, right? This could be just the CTC channel, but obviously it hits my server. All right, I want to test deploying just... So npm run deploy server config. So if I just run that, and then I look at the server here, we have the replay config file, right? So we also want to save this update. Load replay config from external file. Okay. So at least, I have some kind of control over this. And now we're basically just gonna do deploy server and hope for the best. It's not gonna explode right away because I need to actually restart the server for it to use the new stuff. So let's do what we did earlier and just restart beta. And we probably want to also look at the logs of beta. Logs, beta 6. And then we want to do to restart 6. So we want to look at that. Then we want to load this on beta, or beta for some of you, probably. Right. So there's probably, if I look for replay, API, no. Let's get rid of the big rows. Wait a second. What is the collect replay? So if I search for replay, but it's not in here. So this is not the new code now. Because otherwise we would see it loading the thing. Didn't I restart 6 though? Ah, maybe no. The sync should have been completed. Okay. Okay, this is clearly not working, but we do have the watch file stuff here, and it's looking ... replay collection config. So ll ... replay collection config.json. Shoot, what's going on here? Replay collection update. Oh no, wait, here it is. Oh, because it's not the right date yet. You know what? We're just gonna make it start from today, because it doesn't really make much of a difference. The puzzle isn't actually published, so I gotta test it. And we have file dates on those things, so we can just ignore those. So let's start it from here. Now we need to deploy the config, see if it auto reloads. There we go. Now if I refresh this page, which isn't the right one because we were just looking at that other thing. We want to load. Did I close the thing? All right. Beta, blah, blah, blah. Is that the right? I think so. We need to delete something here. Replay. Yeah, nope. No, wait. It should still... Yeah, here's collect replay. Okay. So if I now do this like that, it does a replay submit. We don't get any major errors or anything. And then if I go here, you do replays, and then I can go to LZ yada yada. Why am I not able to spell cat? And the date on this file is right now. Cool. All right, so I think that's working. Was there something else I need to set up? No, I think that's it. The backlog catalog, random, wait, what? Simon's O'Clock. I think it's about Simon O'Clock. That replay thingy was not the same folder than the rest. No. Brute force puzzle finder, oh, backlog catalog, yeah. This can help. I think I'd want the replays from people that were stuck for hours and couldn't finish either, but not sure how you would capture it. No, these are very specific. This is for academic research, right? So these are specific puzzles for a specific audience, and they're being analyzed by PhD math grads. So, and they've developed over the last year or two, they've developed tools for replay analysis, and we're creating heat maps and all sorts of things. So, in fact, I started building this for this research, but it was on hold for a while now. So now they wanted to start doing it again. And that's why I need to update the system. All right, I think that's it for now. Oh, no, I need to restart the main server as well. So this guy needs to also restart. So restart 4. And let's hope it doesn't die. So last 30 minutes, 2.2 thousand hits. Like the visitor numbers, it doesn't make sense because all the pages are one page. So there's no way in the last 30 minutes 400 people played 5 puzzles each. I mean, I guess it's no, because that would be average, right? That doesn't make any sense. So let's take a look at the traffic numbers, because if that flat lines, I know we have a problem. It seems to be running smoothly at the moment, and in fact the CPU is not angry at me. We're looking all right. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this. This. So let me just, yeah, I'm gonna send them a screenshot so they know where we're at. All right. I think I'm gonna call it here now because everybody's here and it's super late and I'm late for dinner and all this stuff. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you back and forthing with me. It helps me to kind of look at things from a different perspective. So sorry if I didn't respond to every message, and sometimes I forget to check the chat because I don't usually have an active chatter there. But yes, I really appreciate the input. So and if I didn't do things a certain way or whatever, it's usually not necessarily because it wasn't a good suggestion or something. It's just that I'm not necessarily in a good place to do certain changes easily at this stage. But this was a really productive session, actually. I implemented a feature that's been pending for 2 years and waiting to be implemented, and probably opened the doors for some cleanups on the server and all that stuff. So I'm really happy that I've done this. Of course, there's a million things I didn't do right now, which I also want to do today. So there's always that. But I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to those things. All right, thanks for hanging out, guys. And happy puzzling. Take care. And the puzzles that I'm collecting data for are gas puzzles that are going to be published on missingdeck.net. I don't know exactly how, like if they're just appearing on the site or if they're sent to somebody in particular. But, you know, check out missingdeck.net for some cool gas style puzzles. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your weekend.